No, this isn't somewhere in Central America. It's in the wealthiest place in the United States. But that's how things are in California these days. We're here in San Jose. And San Jose is rich, bitch. There's more wealth per person here than any other city in the country. It's home to the smartest, forward-thinking tech people around. It's the heart of Silicon Valley. This should not be here. Now, I like San Jose a lot. I think it gets a bad rap from people who say it's going downhill. We'll talk about the bad and the good and why in the hell so many rich people thrive here. Boy, is there a lot to talk about. San Jose, California. Population 1 million. Well, wait, there were 1 million people here a few years ago, but there have been a lot of people who have left. For the first time since 2013, San Jose's population dropped below 1 million people. Why? Well, there's a lot of people leaving California in general. Only Illinois saw more people move away. I mean, look at this. This is the 280 at 8 in the morning. This is pretty dead for a major city. It's so expensive here, for one. Real estate costs are outrageous, and taxes are going up all the time. The politics here are turning a lot of people off. It's getting more dangerous, and there's homeless people taking over parts of town. And people can work from home now. Why raise a family here when you can settle down in a place that's just better? That's not good news for a place like Silicon Valley, which has relied on talent to be here with their butts in seats. They're going to have to figure that out, because word's out among tech workers who don't need to be here anymore. Here's a map of Silicon Valley. Over here is San Francisco. All up and down this corridor are lots of new tech buildings, overpriced condos, trendy places to hang out, and Teslas. Lots and lots of Teslas. Every big tech company you've heard of has a presence here. Google, Apple, Cisco, Facebook, Amazon, PayPal, Hewlett-Packard, all of them. But there's a lot of poverty and homelessness in our nation's 10th largest city. And before we get to the good, you people on YouTube are sick and you want to see bad stuff. So I'll begin with that. I just got here. As soon as you pull into San Jose, you see homeless everywhere. I'd only been to this place once, and that was 30 years ago. Back then, San Jose was just another mid-sized American city. Just like the rest of California I grew up knowing, the homeless problem was not a problem. Now, I showed the absolute horror of these San Jose homeless camps in another video. The link to that is at the end of this video. But I'll give a brief rundown of what I saw during the 2 days I was here. This camp's the one I showed at the beginning of the video. It wasn't a large homeless camp, but it was one of the most peculiar camps I've ever seen. These people are living in absolute squalor, just steps from a fancy golf course. There are now more than 8,000 homeless people in San Jose now, and they're multiplying faster than the city can find places for them to live. State law says they can camp outdoors. And to be honest, I think the city likes them all in one place, so they're easier to manage. And that's despite the fact that there have been more than 200 people who have died living outdoors like this. Some people would call parts of San Jose a dump, and they'd be justified in doing so. Anyways, you see this all over San Jose, along the riverbanks and in the woods. It's pretty dangerous for people who are out here trying to enjoy nature. Plus, the smell seems to stick in your nose and in your clothes. The biggest camp I saw in San Jose was out by the airport. This large camp at one time held hundreds and hundreds of people, but the city was pressured to kick everyone out because it's under the flight path for the airlines. You can see what it used to look like when it was captured by satellite a while ago. These are all homeless. They call this their field of dreams. If you build it, oh, they came. Can you imagine landing in San Jose? Like, you're here for some tech conference, and this is the first thing you see before you land? This is your first impression of the USA? I'd be like, what are these people doing wrong? The day I was here, people were literally packing up, and trash trucks were moving all the tons of debris away. This camp cost $2 million to clean up. Next time you complain about your property taxes here, remember, some of your taxes are going towards homeless people poop removal. Some of the people I talked to had a place to go, and others were just going to scatter to other parts of the city, like the downtown park. I walked around the city's park and I saw people laying all over the place. A lot of them are addicts or are mentally ill. I tried to talk to some of them, but they either couldn't communicate or looked confused as to why I was trying to talk to them. From a distance, it's easy to judge and assume, but when you actually walk through these areas and smell them and see these people's faces up close, it's really tragic. Some of these people were let out of prison and they had nowhere to go, because that's what they do in California. Stop prosecuting people and they cater to the criminals. The city's going to try to offer all these people a short-term solution, but they usually turn it down. All they can do is stock up on Narcan and add more rehab beds. San Jose used to be the safest big city in the U.S., but for the last decade, violent crime is up 50% and rapes have almost doubled. They just don't make keeping enough cops on the streets a priority. Of course, all the homelessness here has been a big part of that. Assaults, thefts, vandalism. If you were to go to the worst part of San Jose, it would be where we are now, on the east side of town. This is where a lot of the shootings and assaults and robberies happen. It's also here where gangs wander around in the road. They've robbed jewelry stores in the middle of the day here, right inside the mall. There's sirens and high-speed chases all the time. As long as it's not over $1,000, you can take just about anything here and not get in trouble. And the crime here is multiracial, I have to say. Parts of San Jose feel like Oakland now, which is just tragic because Oakland is in a bad way. One local advocate said San Jose needs to find its soul because it was lost a long time ago. What the damn hell? And guess what? Despite all this bad news, this is still one of the most expensive cities to live in the country. People make like $90,000 a year, but the average home is $1.3 million. That's just crazy. It has to change, right? Well, it is, everyone, at least right now. Home prices in San Jose are dropping the third fastest of all. It's down 11% here these days. The correction was bound to happen, but it's not permanent. They just can't keep up with the demand. There's just so many good jobs here. Everybody wants to live here. Right now, we're in just some average part of San Jose. It's not nearly the best part of town. But everything in here is over $1 million. I know. That's why people can't afford it. And a bunch of homes in San Jose are owned by Chinese corporations. They have to buy them so that their tech workers can have a place to stay. Even Google and Apple have to buy up homes here so their employees have somewhere to crash. In Los Angeles, these same homes might be $500,000 or $750,000. But it's expensive all over the area. Real estate in Los Gatos is $1.6 million. In Sunnyvale, it's $1.7 million. It's like that in Mountain View, Palo Alto, Cupertino. And of course, there's Atherton. the most expensive place to live in the country. That's 20 minutes from here. Homes here are like 10 million on average. Cough, cough. These houses might not look like much, but this is the most expensive real estate in the state. All these tech people, I tell ya. Downtown San Jose is actually a pretty pleasant place. It's pretty clean, and there's a lot to do down here. Driving around, you can see why this city was just called the 5th best place to live in the country. There's just a lot of good jobs and good healthcare and good schools. And check out these neighborhoods close to downtown. These are pretty nice. You don't see that very often. Nice neighborhoods close to downtown. Not too shabby, I have to say. But I'm sure I can't afford them. Most of downtown's pretty dead. On some blocks, you'll see more homeless people than tourists and tech workers. I think they run most of them out of downtown because you don't see nearly as many tents and pee and poop downtown San Jose as you see in other major California cities. That's good. While out and about in San Jose, I did a lot. I was there for 2 whole days. The first night in San Jose, I partied so hard the toxins sweated me out. I went to the Caravan, totally my kind of place. Racks of cheap booze, a little cooler with homemade shit, chips, cash only, plastic cups. Come on, people, they don't make bars any better than this. Wait, whose beer is that? Who are they saving that for? And the band schedule, my God. Oh, I am so coming back for that lineup. Dang. I went to the club. Actually, it's a music venue called the Ritz, but it felt like the club. Everyone in here was chill, a theme I'd see the entire time I was downtown. Actually, I shut San Jose down the first night. After the club threw me out, I walked around all high and on Red Bull, trying to find one more place to get a drink, but it was not to be. Please back bar. I just want one more. Please. Oh no. What? My second day was a lot more tame. I'm a professional. Come on now. I began my morning at La Victoria, where I ate the best breakfast burrito since Monterey. I spent my last day here driving around, kind of checking out all the different neighborhoods. I didn't see anything that bad. I mean, this isn't LA or Oakland or anything. There aren't trash and ghettos everywhere. I understand there's gangs and violence and stuff, but how bad can a place be when you see Teslas in the hood? I wondered, do gangbangers drive Teslas too? They sure could sneak up on people. But I only saw 2 cops the entire day that weren't directing traffic around homeless camps. That was odd. For dinner the second night, I went to Tequila's Botanero. I had no idea, but apparently this place is a big deal. And I was clearly the only white boy to walk in there that day, judging by the way they reacted when I sat down. Totally awesome staff, and the food was marvelous. I learned Botanero means botanist, so I guess they're tequila plant growers here. I spotted the Wee delivery truck downtown, which apparently only delivers to Asians and Hispanics. Can you do that? Clearly, everyone in San Jose either drives a Tesla or a Camry. There's no other option. The electric scooters here aren't all tipped over and thrown in the gutter like you see in most big cities. That's cool. A lot of downtown San Jose is just your typical boring professional stuff, but they do have some really large and welcoming entertainment districts. On night 2, I laid off the booze and just wandered around, and I was very impressed. You can walk around all of this and feel really safe and not be bothered. I'm not kidding. It's just chill AF. No drama and no BS. It's not often that you can let your guard down in a major city anymore. It was refreshing. I did not expect to see this, and I'm rarely thrown off like that. I was relieved, actually. I had heard a lot of bad things about San Jose, but it's not that bad. for the most part. Maybe it's because trashy people can't afford to live here. My favorite part of San Jose is San Pedro Square, where they have tons of bars and restaurants and everybody's in a good mood. This was a Saturday night, so I guess I caught it at the right time. You can't help but notice almost everyone here is Hispanic, Indian, or Asian. Seriously, there might have been 100 white boys downtown total. Am I stereotyping by assuming that's because of the tech presence here? But anyways, everyone downtown is super cool and just chill. Maybe they know how to handle their liquor. Maybe they're just genuinely nice. But I really like the people here, I have to say. By the end of the second day, I had walked around so much. Look at my shoes. A lot of this is from walking around all of California, but San Jose really wore my shoes in. This is what they look like when I first left for the trip. I always pack brand new shoes for each road trip, and then I leave them at the airport in North Carolina when I get home. We all want the same things in life. Safety, success, fun. We want to be liked. If you talk to an expert on homelessness, they'll say the problem isn't because of drugs. It's not mental illness or free benefits. They'll say it's an affordable housing shortage. That's certainly the case here. The Silicon Valley is where tech billionaires are born. There's a 2% unemployment rate, and the money they make, I tell ya. So clearly, this area is not failing most people. There's a lot to love about San Jose if you're successful in life, but the reality for so many here is not that. So Jason, when I went to San Jose, I was a little bit kind of like, I didn't know what to expect. I'd heard about how bad it was with crime and homelessness, and people that live there are like, San Jose's gone downhill. But I have to say, I went there. I really like San Jose a lot, way more than I thought I would. What is it why do people live there say so many negative things about San Jose?
Yeah, I'd say if people are going to, well, how do I say? People are probably going to talk bad about anywhere they live. And I lived in Denver back in the mid 2000s. I moved from San Jose to Denver, and people in Denver, a lot of people complained about Denver too. Right. And I thought it was just this awesome, wonderful, amazing city. And I don't know, I'd say if anybody's going to badmouth it, I don't know, maybe either it's just some people just like to badmouth things and talk trash about things just because they feel it's fun or something. I don't know. But sometimes you get some of the older crowd, people that have been here for decades, like you can get them kind of saying things like it's not like it used to be. San Jose used to be, even though it was a city, it was a fairly small city, had a big agriculture kind of background, not far from where I live. When I was growing up, even in high school, there was cornfields out here. There was peach orchards. It was a very, very agricultural, I wouldn't say community, but down in the South area where I live, you still got a lot of that. So it kind of had that kind of country feel and such. But yeah, over the decades, especially since the 90s, mid 90s to obviously the tech boom really blew things up out here. And yeah, I'd say if anybody badmouth, they're probably just going to be complaining just about the growth and the traffic and all that. But with that growth and traffic comes some of the best jobs in the world too, working for some of these tech companies that everybody wants to work for. So I'd say that I think maybe it's perspective, but it's not a terrible city. It's not a bad place. And, we talk about crime and things. We're nowhere near, say, San Francisco or Oakland or anything like that for the Bay Area. Even LA or Sacramento probably has higher crime rates than we do. But yeah, it's just, I call San Jose the biggest boring city in the world because there's not a whole lot to do here. It's suburbs, and our downtown's kind of lame. And, if I'm going to complain about anything, I always complain about downtown, that it lacks opportunity down there. There's not much to do.
I like downtown. I do agree. It's kind of sleepy a little bit, but man, you don't have to worry about really anybody messing with you. The homelessness down there is nothing compared to other major cities. You can just kind of let your guard down and kind of walk around, and the people are super friendly, man. There's like not any drama in downtown San Jose. And I actually asked somebody, like, why is it so chill here? And one person said, because trashy people can't afford to live here.
There you go. There you go. It's like the bar that has the $40 cocktail. You're not going to get a lot. Yeah, and I think too downtown that area, you got the college right there, San Jose State. So sometimes you get some of the students. People are kicked back but San Jose, the downtown San Jose is really small, right? It's only just a few square blocks, which I think is, again, for a city of over 1 million people to have a downtown is little and is, I don't know. I think it's such a wasted opportunity. Yeah, it's just once you get outside of those kind of few square blocks, then it does get kind of dicey, right? You do start to see the pockets of homelessness, especially under the overpasses and in the outlying parks. I believe it's St. James Park, the one that's a little bit north of downtown. You'll start to see it more there, but in the little concentrated downtown part, you don't see it a lot, which is nice.
I noticed, and it's something that is becoming more common in the country, is the wealth gap. San Jose has a huge wealth gap. How is that? Is that a thing? Are people talking about that? Is that something that's growing?
Growing? Yeah, probably. I mean, I think it's not to get too political on things here, but yeah, it's how do I say it's expensive to live here. We're in a valley. If you look on the map alone, we're in a valley, so there's just limited land to build anyways. You got the tech industry here, the Googles, Yahoos, Facebooks, centered in the, Tesla. Well, Tesla, they moved, but even Netflix is down here in Los Gatos. So, you just got a lot of really high paying jobs in a very, very small area. And yeah, that's really driven the price up. Just builders, just in general, myself being in the real estate business, builders, it's not affordable to build here, with all the headaches and the litigation they have to go through for, nearly a decade of court, just to break ground on land to build something. It's just cost prohibitive. And so they don't build, and you have more people coming here because they want to be here. So it just drives the price of everything up. And so when we talk about that wealth gap, you're just getting people that are either, you're getting multiple generations of people renting in a house, or you're getting people that are, on the higher end, our elite class, I'll say, they're able to buy something, and, they've got the means to do it. So, we've kind of, we've kind of pushed out, again, we talked about before, in other conversations, like, the disappearing middle class, which is common in California. And so, you're starting to see this kind of dichotomy of either you're getting people that can buy something nice, they can buy a house, or those who just have to rent with 3-4 other people. And, it's until we can start building more houses, which probably not going to happen in my lifetime here. Definitely not in the South Bay. I think nationally, we're like 3 million houses behind, just to have a even housing market. So we're really behind here. And so builders just go to Vegas, they go to Arizona, and they just go build out there, and people can go over there and buy an affordable house. And so they do.
How would you compare the political BS that's happening in San Jose, and maybe it's not, to what's going on in San Francisco and Los Angeles and other major cities? Is San Jose having the same crap politically going on there that other major cities are having, or is it not as bad there?
I'd say it's not as bad down here. It's pretty. So anybody knows we're talking about Bay Area, California. We're talking about very left-leaning politics. There's one ideology here that's allowed, and that is the progressive left ideology. And it's if you're of a more conservative mind here, it's probably best if you keep that to yourself. Not that I'm advocating that, but that it's not good for your career, I'll say. You can look at examples of people who have lost their jobs here in the Bay Area just because they didn't go along with a certain political mindset here. And that's one of my knocks here, is that there's just kind of one way of thinking, and it didn't used to be that way. I'll say it did not used to be that way. I'd say 10, 15 years ago, most people could hang out, have a conversation about politics, left leaning, right leaning, it didn't matter. And then they'd go on and have their beer and have a laugh and move on. But it's not that way anymore, unfortunately. Now, I'd say it's probably not as bad as San Francisco. Oakland politics, is a little bit different there. It's a little more activist, I'll say, maybe in Oakland.
How much of the exodus have people been talking about with people leaving California? especially in the Bay Area, I think the biggest exodus of all, because just the cost of living, all these tech workers were told they can work from home and go work from anywhere and indefinitely. So a lot of people did do that. I noticed the freeways seemed not empty, not busy at all during what would normally be rush hour. It felt very downtown, felt just everywhere you go, just felt kind of like empty. Is that a thing that people are talking about in San Jose with everyone leaving?
Yeah. I mean, I did a video on my YouTube channel, my San Jose channel here, downtown, and I went on a Sunday, and there was nobody down there, and it was a fairly nice day. It wasn't hot, wasn't cold. It was just regular day. I took my GoPro downtown, and yeah, it was pretty dead. I noticed driving around for sure. The freeways are a little more open. Just so many people are working from home now. If people don't have to go to the office, they don't. People that work in restaurants, bars, right, hospitals, they have to. But rush hour, we get, I'd say probably a rush hour. It's probably an hour. It used to be about 3 or 4 hours. But yeah, people are leaving. I've seen polls over and over. They show that, what is it, like 50% of people in California say they would leave if they could. And, part of my business, my real estate business that I have is relocating people out of California. That's a core of what I do. It's people just don't want to be here anymore. It's too expensive. And a lot of these people are people who, like I mentioned before, they've been here a long time. So they bought their house 30, 40 years ago. They have $500,000 in equity. And so they're ready to go. When I talk about San Jose is not what it was, or California is not what it was, they're definitely ready to leave. And they have the means to do it. And I feel bad for the people that don't have the means to get out. They don't have the equity, or they don't even have a house. After our last interview, I had a lot of people reach out to me saying they wanted to get out of here. They were renting and they just wanted to leave, but they didn't have any down payment. They didn't have anything that they could move to an area to actually buy something. So they're kind of stuck.
Seems like, I would imagine that even though people are leaving San Jose or the Bay Area, there's going to be somebody right there to fill their spot. The housing market there is just not going to ever probably go down. So even though you got people over it that are leaving the Bay Area for good, judging by the house prices and the demand, it's just going to continue to just be a place that everyone's going to want to go to.
Yeah. We just have beautiful, beautiful weather. I think that's a big part of it.
I have to say, yeah. I mean, I saw a lot of bad in California. I saw a lot of good. And it was just nice to go to San Jose and kind of get a welcome relief from a lot of the bad places that I had visited or weird places. I was pleasantly surprised. It's a great place, and I'm glad I popped by there. It kind of was one of the better places I went to on the trip.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's my home. Like, I know we kind of touched on politics a little bit. It's politically, probably not my thing here, but politics doesn't run my life. If you can come out here and you can make it happen, you can afford it, which there's, like I say, there's ways to afford it. You just got to hustle and go get after it. There's no better place, me personally think, than San Jose to build a business, right? So if you want to actually make a career and make some money, this is the place to do it. I mean, there's 4 million people in Silicon Valley. And if you got it, and it's a very entrepreneurial minded kind of place. We've got the venture capitalists still here. We've got the investment money. We got Stanford Business School. If you got this idea that you want to build some company or do something, like, this is the spot to do it. And you can make a great living here if you kind of apply yourself. It's a great kind of, I'll say, maybe like a nest. You can just come in here and really build something. And when you build something and you make a big profitable business, guess what? You make money, and then you can get out of here, and maybe take that business somewhere else.
Are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. And I can also help you find your new house too. Email me and I'll work with you on not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home too. That's right. I know awesome, reliable agents all over the country, and I'd love to connect you to somebody who can help you search for that perfect home. Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great. You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also click one of these videos or playlists for more.
This is Sage, Nick's manager. This has been a Corner House Entertainment production.